Right guys, welcome back to another video on my Corsa B C20LET. Now, yes, this has been a video that I've been meaning to do for quite a long time. So yeah, I've owned this car for now about 4 years roughly. So yeah, this is quite an important one. This is living with a Corsa B C20LET. So basically, yeah, I'm gonna give you guys everything you need to know, like what it's like living with this car, driving it, and looking a little silly the practicality side of it as well, which is probably irrelevant to someone who also wants a car like this. Yeah, anyway guys, this will be a really cool video, so let's get right into it. Right, so before we actually go for a drive, well a POV drive, and show you what this thing's really like to drive, there's a few things we need to talk about, obviously. Right, so I need to just briefly tell you the spec on this car, which can obviously affect the way this car drives. So it's obviously got a 6-speed gearbox and a gripper LSD. Now, for me personally, this is what really kind of makes the car not the best to drive, like around town and various things. So yeah, if you're trying to park or like doing like hard cornering at low speeds, like say you're trying to park maneuver basically, it is really unpleasant and it's quite hard too. I was pre-warned about this when going 6-speed, so it's an F28 gearbox. Oh yeah, also, I will put the full spec of this car in the video description because there's too much. Like, if I was to tell you all the spec on this car, it would take up most of the video because there's so much been done to this car and it's just a really long list. So I'll just put it in the video description for you guys just to look through yourselves and digest it a lot easier. See, as I said, I'll own this car for 4 years. If you want to know where this car has come from, then also just go check out my other videos. I should have a little playlist on my YouTube channel, all videos in this car. So yeah, go check them out if you want to know the full story in this car and kind of where it's come from. Yeah, now onto a little boring subject, practicality. Now, this thing is actually quite practical. I mean, the Corsa B, it's such a well-designed car. Like, doesn't matter what engine's in it, like they are well-designed cars. I mean, I took my wheel into nursery in this, and honestly, there's like plenty of space at the back. The boot is pretty good too. Like, and even if you're in the front of the car, it's quite a spacious car. That's the one thing I've always loved about Corsa Bs. From the outside, they're actually incredibly small cars, but in the inside, they're quite spacious. Like, I know it's a very tedious subject, but we are going to get into the exciting stuff. But as I said, this is a living with Corsa B C20LET video, so you know I need to get everything in, guys. Here's another interesting one. It's like maintenance and stuff like that. Now, is this expensive? Is this an expensive car to own? Is this yes and no. So yes, this is an expensive car to buy, but to maintain, etc., it's not too bad. Like, parts, because it's a Vauxhall, as you can imagine, parts for it are quite cheap. Like suspension bits and bobs are like pennies. If you need to service the C20LET engine, that's relatively cheap too. But I would highly recommend you go for expensive oil, like the best quality oil you can lay your hands on, which is like Miller's and stuff like that. You don't want to put cheap crap oil into a C20LET engine. Just use good quality parts and it will last a long time. Now, here's another one, reliability. Now, so yeah, as I said, I've owned this car for 4 years, and honestly, this car has only, the whole 4 years, it's only broke down once. But I wouldn't actually blame the car. What actually happened was, I was out driving it one night and the alternator belt snapped. Now, upon further inspection, it was actually because the belts on these are quite a thin one, but the belt that was on the car was of a poor quality. So once I went ahead and bought a more expensive quality belt, which is actually of a thicker material, I have had no problem since. The engine itself has been reliable. It has never caused me any problem at all. It's never left me stranded beside the road. It's never randomly misfired, or it's just been a very reliable car. And honestly, in terms of fuel economy, this is not too bad. This car takes about 40 odd litres of petrol, and it costs about, I don't know, depending on the price of fuel. You get about, depending on how you drive it. If you're on boost and you're giving it welly quite a lot, you get maybe low 200 miles to a tank. But generally, if you're just driving it normally, you'll get 250 to 300 miles to a tank. It is quite good. Because the fuel tank is so small, it doesn't cost that much to obviously fill it. So let's get out in this thing. Should give you guys a real world perspective of what it's like to actually drive one of these. Now, obviously the suspension setup in this car, it's got gas coilovers, so you'll see when I'm out driving, it is on normal roads. If they're not smooth, it's quite unpleasant to drive this car, if I'm to be honest. This car, in my opinion, has to be on ideal roads, otherwise it's pretty unpleasant car to drive. But if you're on the right road, this thing is probably one of the best cars you can drive. I swear, this thing is unbelievably good. The capability, just the speed, the capabilities of this car is unbelievably good. And enough of me waffling, let's head out in this thing and go for a spin. Right guys, let's do this. Now, I think this will be a good real world test because we are actually going to be going through a very small town where there are speed bumps and all sorts, so this will be a good real world test. So, right, as you see, I'm doing a hard lock and it just doesn't feel very comfortable, if I'm honest. Right, now one thing I will say, if you do have a Corsa C20LET, right, I would highly recommend you get a 6-speed box because it makes life so much easier. Like, obviously the F28 is the gearbox that's designed for this engine, so you can imagine it does work perfectly well together. Another thing with this car, the speedo is a little bit intermittent. Like, it's just the sensor on the gearbox, like, it has a mind of its own, really. Now, obviously, another thing I got done with this car, I got obviously an extra large silencer put into the exhaust in the middle, which it's a perfect balance. So obviously, when I'm just pottering about places like this at low speeds, it's very docile. It's very like, it's very nice to drive. If that makes sense. It's not too, like, the noise isn't very intrusive, but obviously because it's like a big 2-litre engine, a tiny car, you do get quite a lot of vibrations. All the gearbox mounts and all the engine mounts, they're all just standard rubber, but you still get that vibrations through the car because, well, let's be honest, right, this engine was never designed to be in this car. Although putting a C20LET into a Corsa B is quite easy. Like, it's probably one of the easiest conversions you can do to a Corsa B, so that's something we're bearing in mind. Right, so as we are driving through here, now the bumps here are like, not like, to most cars, not a problem, but for this car, obviously, I understand, I mean, I'm not sure if you can see that. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can see the camera like moving about, but like the bumps here are not bad at all, but for the Corsa C20LET, they're very noticeable. Now, the thing is, right, this is a very, very big speed bump, but when you go over it in the Corsa, it doesn't scrape, like, at all. And I don't know why, because, like, believe it or not, this car is low, and the exhaust, obviously being a 3-inch exhaust, it does hang quite low, but for some weird reason, it never scrapes. The only thing it does scrape is the mudflaps, but nothing else scrapes. It's an absolute miracle. I don't know how it happens, or how it's managed to do that. But yeah, I would say, in my humble opinion, this car is, like, more or less, in my opinion, it's just more suited to, like, smooth roads and, like, stuff like that. Because, I mean, like, and the thing is, the steering is not heavy either. Believe it or not, this car actually has, like, it's an electronic steering on it, so an electronic steering column, and it's actually got like a module thing on it, which allows you to, oh my god, these roads are terrible. It allows you to basically adjust how heavy or light you want the steering, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, this road is bloody hell. Like, you feel everything, guys. I mean, now, the gas coilovers are actually on their softest setting too, and it's like, it's not ideal. Yeah, we are actually currently driving through Ardesir, or as I would call it, Ardequeer, because everyone in Ardesir are a very queer bunch of people. Like, it's full of curtain twitchers, I'll put it that way. And there is quite a few paedophiles and sex offenders here, but that's another story altogether. But yeah, the Corsa B C20LET, driving through kind of normal places like this, it's not a very pleasant experience, if I'm honest. This car would be absolutely amazing on a very smooth bit of road. And I'm not being old, I'm only 30 years old, which isn't old, but my god, guys, like, you know, you couldn't use this car every day. Now, here is another very big speed bump, and the Corsa B C20LET, it scrapes, yeah, but that's actually not, believe it or not, that's actually not the arches nor anything else. That's actually the mud flaps. The mud flaps, even while they are standard mud flaps, they're Opel ones, they don't sit, like, they're the one thing that sits closer to the ground than anything else. But generally, I mean, the seats are very comfortable, I will say that. I mean, they are standard SXI/sport style seats, and they are comfortable. It's just the ride, it's quite hard, to be honest with you. More open bit of road, so we'll just send it! careful. Like this road we're on right now is actually very smooth. I know there's no potholes, I know this road very well, and yeah, again, the Corsa B is quite happily at home on this kind of road. It's just like in places where it's not smooth, it's very unpleasant. Fucking hell. This car is just unbelievable. It's brutal. I have absolutely no idea how much power it's running, I will say that. Jesus Christ. Now, this is another problem. I do apologise if you guys can't hear me very well. One thing I will say, in a car like this, you do need to be incredibly careful, because let's say, because obviously with the differential that it's running and just the way the car is set up in general, if you are on full throttle and you hit a very uneven part of the road, it will quite literally take the steering clean out of your hands. So yeah, I mean, this car is absolutely not for the faint-hearted. So yeah, if you're the type that's like a broccoli head that likes to race around retail parks at like 12 o'clock at night in your Golf R, this car is certainly not for you. You'll probably kill yourself in it. Because that's the problem with modern cars, they are shit. I mean, Golf Rs, for example, they do everything for you. They've got all the drive aids you need, they change gears for you, all you need to do is hold on the steering wheel and point it where you need to go. This car, you need to make sure this car has absolutely no ABS, no traction control, absolutely nothing to save your beans, or to save your skin if you make a mistake. So in my humble opinion, obviously a car like this is for real drivers. Now, I'm not saying I'm Colin McRae or that. I mean, there is better drivers out there than me, just like there is anything else. But I'm just trying to prove a point. This car is for real drivers who don't have broccoli heads and do those kind of things in retail parks. That's just sad behaviour, if I'm honest. But never mind, anyway. And obviously, I am trying to make this video look somewhat exciting because, but let's be honest, right? It doesn't matter what I do. I can about guarantee you there'll be someone watching this video that'll say, oh yeah, oh, you've done this wrong, you've done that wrong. Well, to that person who does that, so yeah. Jesus. So yeah, like coming out of that junction there, like it's not diff. Like obviously before this I had an F20 5-speed. I don't remember it being anything like that. You do have some compromises when you go to a F20, you know. But as I said, guys, if you have any questions whatsoever, then just please put them in the comment section below. Because obviously, like, I do like to obviously speak to you guys and to people who actually appreciate my videos. I do like to obviously engage with you guys through the comment section. I mean, it really is not a pleasant car to drive on roads that are not smooth. Like that's always been my biggest complaint about this car. I always feel like I built this car to do one thing and one thing only, which is to go fast, and that's it. Sure if I've ever told this before, but believe it or not, when I bought this car about 4 years ago with my good friend Sean, this was my 100% dream car at the time. I always, like, I mean, since I was like 18 years old, I always dreamed and I yearned for a Corsa C20LET in Ardent Blue with speed lines and everything this car has in it right now. So I have quite literally like built this car and designed it the way I want it to be, to exactly how I wanted it to be when I was 18 years old. Because I remember I used to go to Crail Raceway and I used to see these things just go up the strip and just annihilate everything. I do mean everything it came against, and just annihilated them. And I remember just looking at that thinking, one day I am going to own a Corsa C20LET. Now, these cars, sorry, like obviously Corsa C20LETs they are getting quite expensive nowadays. I mean, yeah, you can pick them up for quite cheap in the past, but we're not in the past. You know what I mean? Like, these cars are getting very desirable, and they don't. Corsa B C20LETs, they don't come up for sale very often. I did see one a wee while ago, but it was a bit rough. Needed a lot of work, and it was like, I think it was like £5,000, I do believe. So yeah, I mean, if you're wanting a very clean, well sorted example such as mine, you are looking anything, I do quite literally mean anything, between £7,000 to £10,000, depending on spec and many other things. Like, I 1000% value my Corsa B at £9,000, and I do not give a flying F what anyone else thinks. Other people's opinions are completely and utterly irrelevant. Like, it's as simple as that. This car is worth that. I don't give a flying F what anyone else says. I hate this junction. There's actually quite a bad accident here a while ago. So yeah, like, I'm on full like that, and the steering just feels very unhappy. Another thing I'd like to point out, which I actually encountered a wee while ago. So you need to understand, it's a 2-litre engine. Now, I actually got the correct weight for the gearbox and engine for the C20LET and the F28, and it comes in at around 250 kilograms. Now, with all that weight at the front end, and there being basically no weight at the back end, if the roads are less than ideal, like wet, and you come into a corner like a bit too a bit too, you know, fast, it will quite literally, you'll go straight on. Now, I encountered this a while back. There are some roads up near Univard, and I was doing only 30 miles per hour, which was actually, believe it or not, a good 10 to 20 miles under the speed limit, because obviously because the roads were really wet. Obviously I'm not going to be an idiot and go faster and then obviously end up having an accident in my car and all the rest of it. So yeah, I came up this corner, and I'm not even kidding, the car just basically locked up. That gave me quite a fright. Like, and obviously the tyres in this car, they're quite good, if I'm honest. Obviously there's always better tyres out there, but yeah, that'll give me quite a fright. So that's something to bear in mind as well with C20LET Corsa Bs. They are very front end heavy,